This will give them something at least to try and
I don't know.
see if they like it.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's gonna work.
You're all on camera tonight.
I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. Masters, ain't gonna work. I'm sorry we don't have an agenda tonight. Joe and I didn't really get to talk about it. He was out of town and I flat out forgot about it. So anyway, we have a treasurer's report here that Mike can go over that. Oh, I guess we need 2 minutes, don't we?
Do it any order you want. Want to do minutes first?
Has everybody read the minutes? Motion to approve. Second. We got a first and a second. Mick Moffitt first, Denny second. Ask for a vote on that, please. For a vote.
All in favor? Aye.
Motion passed. Next is Mike with the financial report.
Handed out the financials. Top sheet is the balance sheet. Second is the year-to-date profit and loss. And third is basically the transactions for the month. Maybe start with the second page, the profit and loss. Basically, the top part of that, you can see the income. I believe probably the biggest change from the last report that you saw at the meeting was the swap meet. Up there at the top, you can see the swap meet proceeds were $5,450.75 plus roughly another $800 in concession sales. The net of that, if you look down below, you can see swap meet expenses of roughly $2,500, $2,600. So round numbers, give or take, about $3,000 in profit off of the swap meet cart show that was held on the 25th. The rest of it's pretty routine stuff. There's nothing outside of the swap meet that I guess I would suggest is outside of normal business transactions. The actual transactions for the month are the last page.
I know, I see.
Basically, I mean, if there's any questions there, I'll try to answer them, but basically these are just the transactions, both deposits and checks that are written for the month. And this is what makes up all the transactions that are up on the rest of the financials. The top page there, the balance sheet, basically right now in checking, we got $22,600. And then the assets there, basically the club assets. And we have no liabilities. I didn't ask Andy. I don't think there's any pending bills of any significance, so this is a fair assessment of the club's financial conditions as of right now. Any questions?
Motion to accept the financial. Tim? We have a second? Jim Rowe? We have a vote on that, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Anybody have any new business? Besides me?
Me.
Okay.
I know this is preaching to the choir, but I just thought I'd started doing it now. I think most of you know Andy and I think technically Andy's still officially the treasurer, and he was not going to be able to really do the job this year, so I told him I would help out and kind of split the duties up to where no one individual is inundated with the financial part of the club's business. I don't think Andy's going to do it next year. In 2015, and I'll be honest with you, I don't want to do it. I've done it for a lot of years. So I think it would be healthy if we could identify a club member or members who would be interested in taking over as treasurer, working with that individual or individuals as the year goes on, and then next year have them take over. I think it's pretty important. The club financials are an important part of this. I know we're all out there to enjoy racing and race, but at the end of the day, it is a business, and this is the business end of the club, and it needs someone's attention. So I'll probably be harping it on it all year, trying to get someone to step up and help out. And it's not all that hard once you learn how to do it. But I think the two folks who have done this for the past 10 years or so are probably not going to be doing it next year, and I just wanted to get that in front of everybody now. That's all I got.
Thank you. Thanks for all your past help.
Glad to do it. You just haven't learned to get out.
Does anybody know if anyone has talked to Kim about mowing? I know Tom was going to, I don't know if he did. So I'm going to say that no one knows. Should we put that up for bid or talk to him, talk to Tim and see what he wants to do?
Currently still getting your check from us monthly?
Should be.
I thought that deal was over.
Okay, well, maybe.
Here's Tom right there. Yeah, look at it.
There's Tom right there.
We'll talk about it when we're there.
Well, I don't see a check cut to him, so.
Okay. Tom, what I asked about was if anybody had talked to Tim Hurley or whatever his name is about mowing,
No.
or should we put that up for bid?
Well, I tell you, my opinion, we should do is give him an ultimatum, tell him he's either gonna have to produce or else we're going to do that. And then if we're gonna do it, probably go door to door. I think there's some people out there who would like to continue that, as part of the bum garden plan, if you will. But, I think that's something we also need to do, like at the beginning of the year, not right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then we've already got what, October, November, December, again, we've already paid him for 4 months for doing nothing.
We haven't paid him.
Oh, we haven't?
No.
Well, I'll ask Andy, but there's no record of a payment being made in January.
I thought his deal was over in September or
If it
October.
was, that's news to me. So,
Would you like to take care of that?
mow the grass down.
No. Getting someone to line up to mow the grass.
Oh, yeah, we'll see how that works. Let me go get that check before I forget about that in the truck.
Okay, next thing I'd like to bring up is food at the concession stand. Do we want to keep doing burgers? Since it's kind of it takes more manpower to cook burgers, or would we serve barbecue, which is a whole lot easier? Barbecue and dogs. Anybody got any thoughts? Why are you grinning like a Jesse?
There's a sausage joke there. It's just
Anybody got any thoughts on it?
I thought it'd be a lot easier to get workers and work there if you didn't have to cook. If you just had to take something off the shelf, pop it on the counter and give it to them, take the money, that'd be a lot easier than.
Well, and the other thing, there's no way to keep our burgers for Route 66 with a big crowd. No way. But I've got 2 grills.
I'm sorry, I
You
couldn't.
can't keep up with burgers as far as having them ready when you have a big crowd. Unless you got the 2 grills, and you cook way ahead, and then you're running the episode, not telling them about to have a wait.
well, this is just for the club.
Yeah, I'm just talking club events.
I just go to the barbecue.
So does that sound good to everybody? I mean, I would think it has to be cheaper in the long run.
Sounds simple.
Yeah, I think, we could buy a couple, 2 or 3 of the platters of barbecue. I don't know how many sandwiches one makes. And, if we run out, we run out. Then we wouldn't have to buy the burgers, cheese, all the stuff that goes with them.
Actually, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
We're going to provide the first
So-
race or 2 and see what kind of feedback we get.
A motion, we cut back on the concession stand to make it less labor intensive. Figure out a program we can go forward with on that.
Do we have a second on that?
I second the motion.
All four?
How much less labor intensive you can get it?
Opposed? Motion passed. The next thing I'd like to bring up is we're going to be running the L206. I kind of feel the clone got away from us on tech and rules, and I think there was a lot of people running things that they shouldn't have been because we weren't checking them. I asked Mike to check on tech tools for the 206. Did you get a price on that?
It's probably about somewhere between $400 and $600.
Okay. If you can you find out, or, okay, if you would find out, please do, and we'll discuss that at the next meeting. Jeff Scott said his dad would get certified to do the clone and 206.
Certified by who?
Whoever he has to get certified to be a certified checker.
Why would you have to be certified?
I don't know. I mean, do you have to be certified?
Nope.
Okay.
You don't have to be certified to be president of a car club. You don't have to be certified to be a technical. The only thing you have to be able to do is read, comprehend, and be able to use whatever fashion of tools you're going to use.
Okay. Well,
The big key is you have to actually do the enforcement. You guys did a lot of tech last year, but it was kind of haphazard. 2 years before that, I don't think I teched once. I was too busy with the concession stand and trailers. So.
well, what I had thought about doing as the VPC was take some chips like we use for the pill draw and write on them check carburetor, check springs, CC, no tech, whatever else, whatever else we need to do, put them in a cup, and each night draw one. And that's what's going to happen that night. That way it's random and nobody knows what's going to happen. So, like with the springs, after a while, everybody got to where, hey, if they're going to check something, it's going to be springs. Don't worry about your CC or cam or whatever else. So that's what my plan was to do.
Why not do it right before the feature and not tell nobody?
Yeah, well, that's kind of,
Well, and you're also going to need to have that control post-race grid area too.
I know.
After the race, it's 85,000 people in the car stands.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
You got a sniffer for fuel?
Yeah.
Start using it more often.
We had a problem with it last year, wasn't it? It was one of the nights that she raced, and my fuel tested good, and then in the class that she was in, the first cart tested bad, and every cart thereafter tested bad, and she was using the same fuel that I was. So I don't know what happened with that.
Maybe you got lucky, your fuel was bad too, but they didn't pick it up.
Well, but my fuel was the same as a couple other people's because I got their fuel for them, and theirs tested good. So, I don't know what happened with
Was
that,
this
but
before or after we switched to the spec fuel? That was after we tested the spec. It was after the spec. Something in the first tank that contaminated the tester. We never could get it off the tester for the rest of the night. I don't know where it was.
okay, well,
Well, a new tester is about right at $800. I do know that. I just ordered a couple for one for the quarter midget club and for that part.
well,
Can definitely get you one of those.
can they be recalibrated or?
I'm not sure they need recalibrated. You might just want to just replace the sensor. I mean, how old is the sensor?
I have no idea. It's older than my.
It's pretty old. It was up there when I got there. So, I mean, that's something too that we can send the gauge off to get it checked and calibrated and such. It might be better at a minimum. I mean, if somebody can get it to me, I can get it sent off. But
Okay.
at a minimum, I think you ought to get a new sensor. And then start keeping a supply of fresh batteries in the up in the tower too.
somebody will be out at the track. I may go out there this weekend if we don't have a foot of snow like you're talking about, and I can get it to you.
Okay.
And then check on the tech tools for the 206, and we'll discuss that at the next meeting. The next thing on my agenda was what went right and wrong at the CART show. We have a vendor here, so Mike's gonna take control of or speak up on this. What would you like? I mean, what worked good for you? We've done it 3 ways now.
Well, after doing it 3 different ways, what I would like to see is I would like to see Logan on Friday morning have not a soft show, but a real committed show with free admission on Friday night from 6 to 9. And then Saturday have the swap meet, let the swap meet people come in, and then do the swap meet and the trade show from 6 in the morning till 3 or 4 in the afternoon and call it quits. Sunday show does not work. It does to an extent, but if you really want to look at it, the biggest trade show in the United States is the GOPR0052 show. It's on Saturday. They don't have any Friday hours. Everybody says that. Friday night from the professional side of it, the amateur guys come in. The Joe Blows come in on Saturday morning. The show's over by 3, and them guys are on the road. Their admission's $5. Their swap meet spaces are fairly reasonable, and they have their place.
They're higher than 5.
One thing else we need to do, that I talked to Russ and I didn't know where he's at, but we need to, these commercial vendors or whatever you want to call them, we need to tell them we got to have your money up front if you want to spend it. Because I know there was 3 or 4 of them didn't show up. Two of them, I think you said paid and didn't show. There's 2 of them that didn't show and didn't pay. And I think if you got that hanging over the head, well, I've already got $100 or $50, whatever, they might shut them. I know a couple of them were afraid they couldn't. One of them said he couldn't get out to get here, and one was afraid that if he got here, he wouldn't get back home. But the other 2 were just, I guess, decided to heck with it. I don't know. So we need to make sure we get the money up front.
Well, they're always playing the weather game.
Right, but if you got their money, they might think a little more about the weather than just say, I'm supposed to snow, I'm not going, I'm going.
And I'd say, the ones that cancel, we say, we'll apply your fee to next year's show,
Exactly,
instead of giving it back.
exactly.
But I'm going to ask Russ if he will keep doing the show. You already said he would.
That's good, 'cause he does. Yeah.
I mean, he puts a lot of time in it, and I don't want to go there. Okay, well, I'll ask him if keep doing the show, and when we have more membership here, I'll ask them again about the show dates, what they would like to see. I personally think the Friday and Saturday worked well too.
Yeah.
I think the Sunday did not. That's just my opinion. So
Seems like people aren't afraid to take off work early to get somewhere, but they always want to get back home early too. You know what I'm saying? They have no problem waking up and leaving their house at 2 o'clock in the morning to be here at 8 o'clock, but they want to be back home by 6 o'clock in the evening.
I agree.
And I think that's where Mike was going, what he was saying.
Those shows are $7 to $10 admission. Probably need to go to 6 at the door. I mean, that would be another $500 right there.
Okay, we'll discuss this again later and talk more with Russ about it and how he's going to handle it. I'll let him, like I said, I don't want that. I'm not going to take that on.
What about your advertising money for e-carding?
Oh, the e-carding, we spent, I think Joe said $300 on e-carding.
That's a waste, isn't it?
That's an absolute waste. We gave away free spots to Route 54, which I don't think they showed up, and then Healyville. Got on their Facebook pages, pumped it up for 2-3 months. Me and Tim were on motorcycle.com pumping it up, tons of views. Didn't cost us a penny.
Yeah.
So, $300 spent on e-carding news was an absolute waste. If anybody's
if anybody was a regular visitor to that site a year ago or 2 years ago, and then you go to it now, you'll see sections of that forum that haven't had a post on it in 14 days or 21 days. You know, motorcycle.com, you can put a for sale ad at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 10:30 you're on page 2 or page 3. Same thing in the Midwest forum section. Like me and Tim would put something on there. By the end of the day, it was gone to page 2 or page 3, and then we try to put something on there and bump it back up. For me, on my mobile phone, I don't know how it is for you. It sometimes takes 2-3 minutes to load the page.
I really go to the page at all.
Even on my Nook or my Kindle, it takes way longer than it used to.
I couldn't read it.
Okay, well, I'll talk with Russ later about the show, and like I said, if he's going to take it on.
If you're gonna let him do the show, I think that's wonderful, but you do need to keep a hand on him, because like I said, several people said, don't do the e-karting news, and he didn't do.
Yeah.
So, you gotta watch him on that, but other than that, yeah, he does an awesome job with it.
What about the radio advertising?
I think the radio was probably a waste also.
Yeah.
Did you hear of anybody who came through the door that said, oh, I heard it on the radio?
I think just printing up flyers, like I said, I put them up in the office building I work in, and hang them up in front of the grocery store. I think you get, just as much for nothing there as will anything else.
I mean, Russ's theory is if we get one new member locally that heard that radio ad, we're gonna make $500,000 off of the club.
Yeah.
If they're active.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he does an awesome job of it. He just gets crazy at the last minute, promoting, spending money on it, so.
Okay, the next thing I have, I talked to the promoter of the MASS series the other day, and I have a rough proposal. We talked about it. What he's planning on doing is charging $65 per entry on the cart and $55 per kid cart. And what we talked about was that we would take 50% of the entry fees. On the pit passes, we would take basically $10 a day. And if he wants to make anything on the pit passes, we would just raise the price of the pit pass. So like if he doesn't want anything, it'd be 10, 20, 30. If he wants something, it'll be 15, 25, 35. If you wanted $5.
Mike was telling me, I checked the other day, he said the Friday pit pass money's ours. That doesn't go for them. They only get the race day.
Okay. Well, if he doesn't want anything, it doesn't matter.
But yeah. So you know.
Is there a scheduled Friday or is this a Tuesday?
Well, originally when I talked to him, he said they wanted to practice Saturday and race Sunday. Now he told me that they want to practice Friday, race Saturday and Sunday. Which, that's more entry fees and more pit passes and practice, So I'm good with that. We'll have to come up with workers.
It's the first event of the year, right?
Yeah, it will be April 11th, 12th, and 13th.
And the first club race is like the first weekend of May.
May 4th. I told him it would be $30 to park, and that I would give him his parking spot, and he'd already talked to all of his sponsors that parking was not part of their agreement, so they will have to pay to park. But I told him that they could, or told him that he could park his sponsors in what is Coach preferred parking areas, since they are the sponsors. But everybody would pay $30 to park, and he was good with that. And on us taking 50% of the entry fee, he wants us to do awards like we did for the Route 66 series, and I think they were around $2 grand.
To 2,500 or something. Does he have a payout schedule of what he wants? Like, are you giving top 3 to a class A that has 3 go-karts?
I told him that we would do 3 per class, period. But, I mean, right now, all we've done is talk about it. wants to work with me on it, and I'm good with that. So, I mean, we had a good conversation about it the other night, and he was asking me a lot about the Route 66 stuff that I did not know the answers to. And I called Tom, and I talked to Joe and Andy about it to try to get the answers that I needed for him. So, you know, I think he'll work with whatever we need to do. But I told him I need to get a proposal in writing, and I need it before our next meeting because we need to talk about it. If there's, you know, what we need to do up front, and if we need to do awards, then he needs to really get on it. So
On the awards, since we're the first event, we don't know what the participation level is. I try to get awards to the club that we use. Ones that we used, like.
oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, recycle.
You
Yeah,
want to get something that's not so unique, you could use them for club events.
yeah,
Maybe something.
yeah. I agree. I gave him Tomahawk's information, phone number, website address, and he was going to look at the trophies and, you know, see what they got. And I'll talk to him more. But,
What's this guy's name?
Scott Beelgut.
I understand he was kicked out of the process since
Well, I'm
He's been kicked out of everything. His son has. His son has.
For rough driving and tag, I saw them.
that's what I was told.
I don't understand. I don't know what the whole deal is with the series. I know he's the director of the series, but I think Keith is basically the one that's behind it. So,
Scott's from Badger, he used to be.
he's up north somewhere. I don't know
Used
what.
to attack at Road America.
He lives in Milwaukee.
But on what he wants us to provide would be, you know, we provide the EMTs, track workers. He said he doesn't have anybody to do scoring, so I didn't volunteer Tim, but I'm going to ask Tim to take care of scoring. We'd have to provide a flagman, and he would provide the race director, of course, and a tech guy. And I said, well, you know, that's, you know, we can probably come up with everything else. That's, you know, shouldn't be a big issue. But like I said, I don't have anything in writing yet, and I don't have anything signed. So, what's that?
It's like getting
Write that down.
Okay. The next thing that I want to talk about, I previously declined the nomination to be president. If I'm going to do this, I'm doing it now.
You're gonna help a job.
You're in.
Motion to elevate the former VP president.
Whatever he was, he now is.
So,
We're behind you, 99%.
so are you
All in favor?
all in favor? Okay, I'm in.
Get out.
I've only got one person opposed right now.
Kelly was still over.
Oh.
No, I showed you the
The consolation is the one person who is opposed does not have voting rights, so too bad.
So,
Oh, that's what take medication and alcohol do. Okay.
Yeah.
I was talking about my wife. I said,
actually, she said she would help as much as she can. Lily's going to help.
first Lily.
Chris Lilly. I don't know if anybody knows what the Bridgestone deal is. I know a few people in here do. But I got 22 sets of tires, which was the same as the MG deal. I got 15 $100 certificates, 15 50s, and 15 25s. So it's a pretty significant deal.
What are those tickets for? Are they for?
Bridgestone tires.
Actually, a one-year product certificate, aren't they?
No, they were it specifies in the contract for Bridgestone tires.
No, but the certificates you can use for anything in the market, can you not?
The agreement we signed, it says Bridgestone tires. So,
Either way, yeah.
yeah, but, yeah. So anyway,
That's for the year?
That's 22 cents per year for a 3-year deal. What I'm going to kind of take over on this part of it. I normally won't do this, say this is what I'm going to do, but I am on this. What I want to do is give away a set at each race, just from drivers entered, randomly pick one, and give away a $150 to $25 certificate at each race. And the reason I want to do that way is because if we give them give them as awards for fast times in classes and stuff like that, if you're racing tag, you're going to get 2 or 3 sets of tires a year. You know what I mean? And I want to spread it out. There's enough stuff there that just about everybody could possibly get something. And that's what I would like to see.
They have no multiple winners on the tires.
Excuse me?
No multiple winners.
Yes, and I was going to, at the first race, we had the drivers meeting, I'm going to ask everybody, if you win a set of tires today, you know, if you get drawn for a set of tires again, decline it, but you can still win the 150 or 25. You know, and same if you win a $100 gift certificate, if you get drawn again for it, decline it, and then you can still be eligible for the tires, 50 or 25. We will have to get tickets or something, and the drivers.
You still have those up to the tower?
Whoever does registration.
Chairman, yeah, they're
Registration, yeah.
If not, I give the GFS, they got their $6, $7 a roll, so they're doing that.
And then that would leave 5 of each certificate for the banquet and 2 extra set of tires that we could give away. So that's what my plan is for that deal. And
Tell them not to decline it, they will just graciously donate it back to the club.
yeah,
Or keep track, and if you draw the same person again, just drop them off.
yeah. I mean, we can keep track. It won't be hard to do.
Well, if you got 10 races though, you got 12 sets of tires left at the end of the year, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I said. Now I want it. We'll have 1 tire or 1 set for each class, and then we'll have 2 extra sets just to, you know, we can put on the table to give away, or we can.
1 set per class.
We got 10 classes
For the
banquet.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking about each race day, I'm sorry.
No. At the end of the year, that would be 22 sets of tires.
Oh, okay.
You know,
And then you could always give away pairs to the big classes like we did last year
yeah,
with the extra 2 sets.
yeah.
And if they're that generous, we need to buy a pair or 2 if we have to. I mean, that'd work out good.
Yeah.
And it's nice too, that way that people were able to gain tires or certificates of tires during the season, instead of waiting to the end of the year to get them to go to continue racing.
So, that's all I got. We did correct the trifold. I don't know if anybody knew about that besides a few people. This picture was wrong. It was Maddie that was on there, is that right? It was supposed to be Talia. So it was Ruth and Printing's mistake, and we got that corrected.
Did you correct the times on the inside?
No, I didn't. This is a sticker. So the other night, Tracy and I sat there and put all these stickers
Right.
on there. So that, no, the times are still marked or wrong, and if we get more made, then we'll have them corrected on that. If no one has anything else, motion for, Jenny's got his hand up.
Well, Facebook questions and comments back and forth about how to get more people involved in the meetings. Maybe we should be looking at,
You're not
what is that?
Camera. I'm doing a test thing. If I put that on YouTube, and it'll tell me how many people watch it. If 3 people watch it, we're not going any further.
That's a Skype thing?
No, that's just
Well-
a GoPro.
GoPro video, whatever it is.
Bill Cravens is kind of a computer guru, and I talked to him about it, and he said in here it would be almost impossible
Yeah.
to do a Skype or
Just because the audio thing.
Webinar. Like a
What's that?
webinar.
Yeah.
Webinar.
Yeah, but,
But anyway, I think our meetings need to be here, and people need to be here for the most part. But maybe we should get off the Tuesday thing, maybe this time of year, and maybe after race season, when people can come on a Saturday and come to Springfield, spend the time shopping a little bit, on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, or Sunday. Maybe we should be during the surveys nowadays. Maybe we should approach each member either at the first race or upon application, say, when would you be most likely to attend a meeting? Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon, through the week, maybe just like we change our race dates
yeah,
from Sunday to Saturday in the summer.
that's a good idea.
Maybe we should have them during the school year on a weekend, so families could make it a day trip to Springfield for the day, once a month. Maybe we should include a few with the night race on Saturday and have them an hour before.
We,
Maybe we should get a survey and say, when will you as a member be most likely to attend?
you know, I thought about or we had actually talked, a few of us, about the hour before at the track. And usually the hour before is kind of hectic around the track. And
We got more classes this year.
we got more, we got out of the class this year, but anyway. You've seen how some of the discussions go here, how hard it is to get something done. Could you imagine if you had that many people involved?
Yeah. Maybe part of the year, if we say 12, you gotta do half these things, supposedly.
Well, no. According to the bylaw, states that, I think, but the rules that said you were not going to enforce that in the past. So I'm not sure if it's ever removed from the bylaw.
The bylaws have never been revised, but that was brought up at the meeting, read twice and voted on. So we eliminated the membership.
Stipulation on the meetings.
It just never got it.
But maybe half the year we can have them on a weekend, the other half of the year we have them on a Tuesday night. That way, different people can come at different times. So maybe they can get their half in on weekends, or three different times during the year.
I'm gonna say we could probably start that in the fall, because, I mean, the schedules now they're already printed in there, and that could get real hectic trying to change that. Maybe like either started in the fall after race season, or in January when the new calendar year started. But I think that's a pretty good idea. I mean, does anybody disagree with that?
I would say not at the event.
Yeah, oh, no, I agree, not at the event.
Some of those people aren't members anyway.
And Tim and I kind of talked a little bit too about doing a web conference kind of thing, and in order to do it and have it work right for audio, you would have to get an actual hotel conference room kind of thing,
Right.
with an actual audio system set up, that kind of thing. Otherwise, it just doesn't make the go anything.
We'll discuss this later towards the end of the year, but I think that sounds like a pretty decent idea. I mean, does anybody have any negative feedback on that?
Seems like everybody, with the weekends, you got, especially, you get the fall kids with their sports and stuff.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I'm saying open-mindedly, it's a decent idea, but it seems to me like Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights are kind of dead nights. And realistically, you're gonna have the same 15, 20, 30 people, however many, whenever you have.
You're probably right.
I mean, and like Mike Curry once said, if you don't show up to meetings, you got no reason to bitch about anything. And I think that should be etched in stone as gospel, because that's exactly right. If you don't show up, you got no bitch.
Another thing, that since we don't have a VPC, I'm gonna nominate Tim Straukas to be the VPC.
I favor.
All in favor? Okay.
Okay, so now I gotta figure out how I can resign my position and who I can railroad in.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
You got it.
Oh, hold on,
How's
Joe's
the,
got.
class sponsorships? Heard from,
I have not heard from anybody.
I think I saw one.
Jim Rose, I know Jim has class sponsorship.
The treasurer report, I think I saw one was purchased.
Other than that, like I said, I haven't talked to anybody, but, you know, I wasn't really thinking about it, you know.
I think we can contact the ones we have, you know, the ones that are there from last year,
Yeah.
give them first opportunity. And then open it up to the
How much is the sponsorship?
$300, is it?
$250. How much was it for you? 4?
600?
Okay, what else do you have, Joe?
Is there some people that are wanting to run the little tags, what they call those, 60s?
Tag 60s?
The new X30 Mini, that's what we're talking about?
No, there was one guy.
You're talking about the mini rock.
Facebook, I think. Mini rock?
Is there a push to have that class? Or?
No.
I haven't heard anything about it.
There was one guy mentioned that from out of town that wanted to come and race one time, wanted me to add it to that thing he had, but that was it. There was one guy who was asking about it. Nobody else has said anything about it.
I saw a picture posted recently, one of our,
JT Miles, I think. But he's planning on running that series, I thought.
Dustin, what was the threat? Did you get numbers on that?
Everybody look over the website real good. I'm kind of stumbling with that. If there's anything that needs to be added to it, send me or Dustin an email and I'll figure out how to get it on there. I think all the weights are right for this year on there. All the recommended gears on there should be right. I added the bylaws onto it. Added the 2014 thing onto the sign-in sheet. So everything else should be good on there, I think.
Did we change our start time since the rules meeting was on Sunday?
Yeah, check that. 'Cause I don't know what our technical start times are right now. So if they're not right on there, send me an
Well,
email.
the Saturdays were an hour earlier than last year, and Sundays were an hour later, whatever that was.
Okay.
I don't know who the guy was at the rules meeting that pushed for the Sunday being an hour later, but I've only seen that one time.
On Saturday, the gates open at 3, Sunday they open at 9, and last year it was 4 and 8. So,
Because like I said, if we're, you know, adding the class, we gotta get going on these Saturday shows. We gotta be done racing for 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
oh, I agree.
And also something else, I mean, I don't think we did, if anybody knows somebody that'd be willing to be there and do like the announcing, you know, talk in the microphone, whatever, that's always kind of neat to have somebody that can, you know, advertise for the class sponsors, you know, the Albuquerque junior light class is up next type thing, and, you know, give some starting lineups or whatever, tell people what's going on.
about flag man.
What's that?
About a flag man.